The music industry today is remembering the life of Linkin Park lead singer Chester Bennington. He was 41 years old and the artist was found dead in his Los Angeles home yesterday.
When your home life is so weird, you kind of don't want people to see a lot of it.
Like, all the stuff that's going on in here is actually just, I'm doing this to myself.
This is like a bad neighborhood, you know what I mean? And I should not go walking alone.
I drive myself nuts.
There's a lot of things that happen to me as a young person. Life is so weird. I feel like I've got it, like, all my stuff together. And then there are periods of time where I'm just like, I'm such a failure.
On the morning of July 20th, 2017, police in Los Angeles walked into a quiet home overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Inside, they found one of the most iconic voices of modern rock, silent, no warning, no struggle, no goodbye. Just hours earlier, he had been laughing with his family, planning rehearsals, and texting friends about the band's next move. Everything appeared normal until the moment everything wasn't.
When your home life is so weird, you kind of don't want people to see a lot of personal problems.
Like, all the stuff that's going on in here is actually just, I'm doing this to myself.
Why aren't you liking this, and what do I have to do? How do I win?
This is the real story of Chester Bennington's final 24 hours. A timeline of calm moments, hidden battles, unexpected signals, and the tragic decision that shook the world. A day that left millions asking the same question. How can someone who seems okay be fighting a war no one sees? July 20th, 2017. Shortly after 9 a.m., police in Palos Verdes Estates, California, responded to a call from a private residence on a quiet street overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
911, what's your emergency?
I haven't seen him. I'm sitting in the car. His housekeeper came up to me and said that she found him dead.
Okay, stay on the phone, okay? Is she able to talk to see if there's any kind of breathing or anything like that?
Yeah, I asked. I said, is he cold? Is he warm? And she said, no, he's dead. He's been hanging, and she's talking to his wife right now.
Okay, 640, okay.
Yeah.
And he's hung himself in the room?
That's what his housekeeper said. I haven't been in the house. I haven't seen him.
Is that the housekeeper I can hear behind you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Officers found Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park, dead in an upstairs bedroom. He was 41 years old. The Los Angeles County Coroner later confirmed the cause of death: suicide by hanging. There were no signs of foul play. Only a half-empty bottle of alcohol was found nearby, though no illegal drugs were present on the scene. Within hours, news of his death spread worldwide.
The music industry today is remembering the life of Linkin Park lead singer Chester Bennington. He was 41 years old and the artist was found dead in his Los Angeles home yesterday.
Just chocolate pudding or canned dog food. Let's hope for the best world. I just jinxed myself and I'm gonna die.
Oh shit, the same thing!
Okay, just
Double dog.
And that's what I remember is this just like lightness, but then you'd hear him and it'd be like, this guy's got darkness.
My whole life I've just kind of felt a little off, and I find myself like getting into these patterns of like behavior or thought. This is like a bad neighborhood, you know what I mean? And I should not go walking alone.
For millions, disbelief turned into silence. Chester Bennington, the raw, resonant voice that had guided a generation through shared anger, confusion, and pain, was gone. To understand his final 24 hours, investigators meticulously reconstructed his last day from calls, security footage, and eyewitness accounts. The last day, on July 19th, 2017, Chester spent the afternoon at home with his wife, Talinda, and their children in Palos Verdes. The family had a relatively normal day. Friends later emphasized that he seemed relaxed and affectionate. He played piano, joked with his kids,
Something else.
3, 2, 1, go.
and texted bandmates about upcoming professional plans.
I I was thinking, like, just yesterday, like, we played a show, a televised show, and we were going to play, we were booked to play the show so that we could promote our single Heavy and play that.
He exchanged messages with Linkin Park guitarist and co-founder Brad Delson regarding travel logistics for a photo shoot scheduled for the following day. He also spoke briefly with his longtime friend and bandmate, Mike Shinoda. Crucially, nothing in his behavior during these exchanges suggested crisis or a forthcoming breakdown. At 10:30 p.m., after everyone had gone to bed, he retreated to his private room. The house was quiet. Sometime between 11 p.m. and 9 a.m., Chester Bennington took his own life. His housekeeper discovered him the next morning. The unsettling coroner's report. The coroner's final report provided the clinical facts, emphasizing the unpredictable nature of the event. The toxicology screening was instrumental. No illegal drugs were detected. Only trace amounts of alcohol were found, far below intoxication levels, and investigators ruled out medication overdose. The conclusion was clear. Chester Bennington's death was impulsive and self-inflicted. Talinda Bennington later confirmed the police findings. She shared her conviction. He was at his best, loving, caring, full of plans. This was not premeditated. It was a moment. This sudden internal shift, following a period of visible stability and recovery, has since become a complex case study for mental health professionals, highlighting how suicidal impulses can emerge rapidly and without warning. The weight of July 20th. Chris Cornell. The date itself carried a profound and haunting weight. July 20th was the birthday of Chris Cornell, the lead singer of Soundgarden and Audio Slave, and one of Chester's closest friends and mentors. Cornell had died by suicide exactly 2 months earlier, on May 18, 2017. Cornell's death had devastated Chester. He viewed him as a brother.
Huge fan of Chris. And to be able to do this is we're blessed. We have really, in my opinion, we have the best fans in the world. We have fans that love other people's music. We have fans that support us no matter what we're doing. It means a lot to us that people are so passionate about our music.
And a reflection of his own lifelong battles with addiction and depression.
I don't know if anybody out there can relate, but I have a hard time with life.
Bennington had performed at Cornell's funeral in May 2017, singing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah while visibly struggling to hold back tears. Soon after, he wrote an open letter to Cornell. "I can't imagine a world without you in it." Friends said that while Chester appeared determined to recover in the subsequent weeks, exercising daily, maintaining sobriety, and continuing therapy, the grief remained heavy. He had nightmares and replayed Cornell's final days in his head. While his death cannot be directly attributed to his friend's passing, the emotional connection and the timing on Cornell's birthday were impossible to ignore, intertwining the two tragedies forever. A life defined by voice and trauma. Chester Charles Bennington was born in Phoenix, Arizona in 1976. His childhood was marked by deep trauma, including sexual abuse starting at age 7, which he first spoke about publicly only as an adult.
I drive myself nuts.
There's a lot of things that happened to me as a young person. Life is so weird. I feel like I've got all my stuff together. And then there are periods of time where I'm just I am such a failure.
This trauma fueled an intense, decades-long struggle with substance abuse, which began with marijuana and escalated to cocaine and excessive alcohol use as a teenager. He started writing music at 11, finding in art his first outlet for the internal chaos. He viewed music as both salvation and burden. His breakthrough came in 1999 when he joined a little-known group from California called Linkin Park, then called Hybrid Theory. A year later, their debut album, Hybrid Theory, changed modern rock forever. His voice, a signature fusion of melodic sensitivity and visceral, throat-shredding rage, defined the band's sound. Songs like Crawling, Numb, and In the End captured a specific strain of youthful pain, anger, and alienation. that felt intensely personal to millions globally. The album went on to sell more than 27 million copies worldwide, earning 2 Grammys and making Linkin Park one of the most commercially successful and culturally influential rock bands of the 2000s. The 2017 tour and the new direction. By 2017, Linkin Park had navigated 2 decades of shifting musical landscapes and released their 7th studio album, One More Light, in May. The album was a departure, a softer, more vulnerable, pop-inflected sound that focused less on rock aggression and more on intimate, emotional lyricism. The title track, One More Light, a somber song about losing someone, was co-written by Mike Shinoda and focused on empathy and remembrance. Its chorus asked, "Who cares if one more light goes out?" In hindsight, those lyrics gained a tragic, prescient resonance. Reactions to the album were polarizing.
We're gonna come out and play heavy first, but in light of our dear friend Chris Cornell passing away, we decided to play our song One More Light in honor of him to start this off. They say, who cares if one more light goes out?
While many fans embraced the emotional maturity, some critics and longtime fans accused the band of abandoning their roots. Chester took the criticism personally and defended the album fiercely in interviews, often becoming unusually defensive. He told one interviewer,
I don't know if anybody out there can relate, but I have a hard time with life. Sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes it's great, but a lot of times for me, it's really hard.
I even told one of my therapists at one point, I said, I just don't want to feel anything. I kind of envy sociopaths because they don't have to worry about ever feeling shit. I kind of want that. And she's like, you mean you don't want to be a human being? I was like, yep, that's what I want.
His final weeks reflected a man trying to balance deep-seated exhaustion with positivity. He even told a friend he was grateful for the second chance life had given him. Just the day before his death, he was online watching comedy videos and had ordered new guitars to be delivered to his house. On the morning of July 20th, band personnel began calling Chester when he failed to appear for a scheduled rehearsal. By mid-morning, police tape surrounded the Palos Verdes home. By noon, TMZ broke the story online. Mike Shinoda tweeted minutes later, "Shocked and heartbroken, but it's true. An official statement will come out soon." Within the hour, One More Light sold out on digital platforms, and millions of fans flooded social media with disbelief. The wave of grief was global, from Los Angeles to Tokyo to São Paulo. The outpouring solidified the deep connection fans had with Bennington.
The music world is remembering rock pioneer Chris Cornell.
His body was found at his house in LA County on Thursday morning local time, who died on what would have been the 53rd birthday of his late friend and Soundgarden vocalist Chris Cornell.
We always have written about our lives, and that should just be enough.
At his funeral, held privately near Los Angeles, hundreds of friends and family gathered. The service ended with a playback of his isolated vocals from One More Light, a sound described by many as pure, raw, and eternal. Chester Bennington's death became more than a headline. It became a turning point.
Guy was 41, on top of the world. The lead singer of one of the biggest rock bands of all time. It's hard to say what caused him to be so fucked up, but most people point to
serious depression, that heavy depression.
A reminder of how invisible struggles can live behind bright smiles and powerful voices. A reminder that even the people who save us with their music often need saving themselves. His legacy didn't end on July 20th. It lives in every song he recorded, every life he touched, every person he helped through their darkest night. His voice still echoes, raw, honest, and unforgettable. If this story moved you, consider subscribing. We share real stories that deserve to be remembered, stories that bring truth, clarity, and perspective to the moments the world never forgets. And tell us in the comments, which artist, actor, or public figure should we cover next? Your suggestion could shape our next deep dive documentary.
This is Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington at the height of his career, and this is Bennington a mere 36 hours before he was found dead. The video shows the frontman in good spirits, sitting next to one of his children amidst a family game night. The 41-year-old was laughing and surrounded by loved ones. So what exactly happened the next day that pushed the singer to end it all? Today, we'll investigate this tragic real-life story, and by the end of this video, we'll uncover the mystery of the singer's final days, unveiling the truth about what really happened to Chester Bennington. Our story begins in Phoenix, Arizona, the sun-drenched city where Chester Charles Bennington was born and raised. Although childhood is often associated with happiness and carefree moments, Chester's experience was quite the opposite. His formative years were overshadowed by traumatic events that had a lasting and profound impact on his life. From the age of 7, Bennington endured a relentless cycle of SA that lasted for a grueling 6 years. Despite Bennington's father being a detective who investigated child SA, he was too terrified to share the details of what had happened with his dad. The constant fear of being labeled as gay or a liar if he spoke up kept him trapped in silence, allowing the assaults to continue. When Bennington was 11 years old, his parents divorced, resulting in his father gaining custody of him. Due to his father's regular double shifts, Chester often felt lonely and neglected at home. Nevertheless, the young Bennington was able to find solace through art. Bennington channeled his emotions into poetry, exploring the themes of frustration, anger, and sadness that would continue to influence his work for years to come. However, being isolated with his darkest thoughts was not healthy for Bennington, and would only pave the way for his tragic and long-lasting relationship with drugs and alcohol.
I started using drugs when I was 11. I think that given the nature of a lot of the aspects of my childhood, when that first person offered me, an escape from reality, I kind of took it and I ran with it.
By his teens, Bennington had used opium, amphetamines, marijuana, and cocaine, which caused significant weight loss and an emaciated appearance, making him an easy target for relentless bullying at school. At the age of 16, Bennington's life took a dramatic turn when he and his friends were ambushed by a local gang while they were getting high. The brutal assault and subsequent robbery served as a wake-up call, propelling Bennington to confront his substance addiction for the very first time. In search of a new beginning, he moved in with his mother, who was so shocked by his skeletal, drugged-out appearance that she banned him from leaving the house. During this period of confinement, Bennington turned to alcohol as a means to resist his relentless cravings for harder substances, unintentionally plunging him into the depths of complete alcohol dependency. Despite the turmoil in his life, music continued to be Bennington's utmost passion. He embarked on his musical journey by joining a local band called Sean Dowdell and his friends, which later changed its name to Grey Days. Comprised of Chester's closest friends from his teenage years, the group recorded and released 2 albums. Nevertheless, Grey Days struggled with a lack of direction, ultimately resulting in the band's failure to achieve success. The singer left the band in 1998, experiencing immense frustration that nearly led him to abandon his musical career altogether. By this point in time, the 22-year-old was already a father and would devote the subsequent years to personal development. He entered the corporate world as an assistant at a digital services firm and even got married. But everything changed on Bennington's 23rd birthday in March of 1999, when he received a call from the vice president of A&R at Zomba Music, Jeff Blue, offering him an audition with a new band consisting of future Linkin Park members then known as Zero. Chester immediately left his own party to record his audition, and within a day, he had a demo ready and sent it off. With his distinctive singing style, he outshined all the other applicants and successfully earned a coveted position in the band. The newborn vocal chemistry between Bennington and co-singer Mike Shinoda helped revive the band, inspiring them to work on new material and change their name name to Hybrid Theory. Shortly thereafter, the band released a self-titled EP. Unfortunately, they faced rejection from several major labels, leading to a challenging journey in securing a record deal. As a result, Bennington faced financial hardships, ultimately leading to months of homelessness on the streets of Los Angeles. This experience took a toll on him, leaving him feeling utterly miserable and, once again, resorting to substances as a means of coping.
Early days more difficult because we didn't know how it was going to go. Like on early days Hybrid Theory, we were still getting started. And so in the midst of all of that, having a guy who would sneak out, he'd just go missing and come back obliterated. Like you couldn't even talk to him. He's just so wasted. Super hungover. He's angry at everybody, yelling at everybody. And you're kind of just like, just let him, let's get through the day.
Thankfully, from this point forward, the journey took a turn for the better. The band's friend and influential advocate, Jeff Blue, had ascended to the position of vice president at Warner Brothers Records, and with his help, Hybrid Theory managed to secure a record deal, even after being rejected by the label 3 times before. The band was then advised to change their name to avoid confusion with another group by the name of Hybrid. They considered the names Pleer and Platinum Lotus Foundation before deciding on Linkin Park. Though they'd pay tribute to their old name in their debut album's title, Hybrid Theory. Released on October 24th, 2000, the album was a massive commercial success and went platinum within 2 months. Hybrid Theory ultimately sold more than 4.8 million copies during its debut year, with singles such as Crawling and In the End catapulting the band into mainstream prominence. However, their sudden success came with a new set of challenges. With a grueling schedule of 5 to 6 shows per week and constant traveling, Linkin Park's demanding lifestyle eventually took its toll, and the band found themselves navigating through the lowest of lows.
I think we toured like 2.5 years on Hybrid Theory and maybe 2 years straight on Meteora.
After 4 years of just grind and touring, I know that the energy and the touring and the fun and the success and it's great and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, there's only so much internal space that you have. I would hear reports that, Chester was struggling. I don't know if other people were struggling and if so, how they were struggling and what was going on. And I just sort of wonder, like looking back on that now, how you did navigate through those choppy waters and perhaps where it was kind of at its most difficult.
Struggling to adapt to the fast-paced lifestyle of being a member of the hottest rock band of the early 2000s, Bennington's reliance on drugs and alcohol began to spiral out of control. This created a divide between Chester and the rest of his bandmates, as they did not partake in drugs themselves. During this period, the singer consistently performed under the influence, consuming cannabis right up until the band took the stage. When the shows ended, Bennington's night was just beginning. He would indulge in heavy drinking, repeating this cycle every single night. Despite the growing perils of Chester's self-destructive path, the band fought to maintain their momentum and went straight back into the studio to record their second album, Meteora. Upon its release in March of 2003, the album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, boasting sales of over 810,000 copies in its first week alone. Then, once again, Linkin Park hit the road, without stopping for another 2 years. By the end of the Meteora touring cycle, Bennington found himself trapped in a failing marriage and violently dependent on alcohol. "I was a mess," admits Bennington. "I was falling through windows, having seizures, and going to the hospital the whole time. It was ridiculous. I was a total wreck." In his darkest moments, he turned to his loved ones for support, recognizing that his journey was not one he could navigate alone. Fortunately, much to Chester's overwhelming relief, his bandmates rallied to his rescue. In their pursuit of inner healing, the members of Linkin Park came together for deeply impactful band counseling sessions where Bennington was forced to confront his behavior over the past years. It was through this process that he realized the harmful impact his alcohol and drug consumption had on his bandmates. So in 2006, with the unwavering support of his loved ones, Chester went to rehab, grasping a rare opportunity for redemption, one that eluded him in his troubled childhood. The road ahead wasn't easy, as he faced ongoing battles battles with his inner demons, but this time, he knew he wasn't alone. Bennington subsequently underwent a profound transformation, sobering up, going through a divorce, and eventually rediscovering love through his second wife, Linda Bennington. In the years that followed, he demonstrated a commitment to maintaining his sobriety and embracing a renewed sense of purpose. For the next decade, Linkin Park was unstoppable, captivating audiences with the release of 4 studio albums that all went platinum. Astonishingly, every one of these albums made their debut at the top of the Billboard 200 chart, with the exception of 2014's The Hunting Party, which entered at number 3. Work on the band's follow-up album would begin the very next year, but things would soon take a tragic turn. In August of 2016, Bennington experienced a harrowing 3-day relapse, which regrettably persisted with subsequent weeks of continued drinking. A few months later, Linkin Park released Heavy, the first single from their upcoming studio album, One More Light. The song, however, deviated from the band's signature sound and unexpectedly veered towards a more pop-oriented style. This abrupt change triggered a negative reaction from fans and critics, with Bennington struggling to handle the feedback gracefully. The singer would lash out in interviews, telling fans to stab themselves in the face if they didn't like the song, and even threatening to kill anyone who accused him of selling out. Critics who were given advanced review copies of the album harshly criticized it, describing One More Light as an insincere and forced attempt by the band to capitalize on the trend of dance music-infused pop, all while completely abandoning their sense of identity. However, no one could predict the tragic series of events that would unfold next. On May 18th, 2017, the rock music community suffered a profound loss with the unexpected death of Soundgarden frontman Chris Cornell, who committed in his Detroit hotel room. Cornell's untimely passing occurred just hours before the release of Linkin Park's One More Light, and Chester was profoundly devastated by the loss. The two singers had forged a deep bond through their close friendship, and had even embarked on several tours together with their respective bands. In a testament to the love and admiration these two friends shared for one another, Bennington was even given the honor of being named the godfather to Cornell's youngest son. In an emotional social media post, Bennington stated that he could not imagine a world without Cornell in it, and prayed that his friend could find peace in the next life. The following day, Linkin Park was scheduled to perform the song Heavy on Jimmy Kimmel Live. However, Bennington would instead push the band to play One More Light, a heartbreaking song that explores the theme of losing a friend.
We were going to come out and play Heavy first, but in light of our dear friend Chris Cornell passing away, we decided to play our song One More Light in honor of him to start this off. We love you, Chris.
According to bandmate Mike Shinoda, Bennington was unable to get through rehearsals without breaking down in tears. 1 week later, Bennington sang Hallelujah at Cornell's funeral. Despite the emotional turmoil he was experiencing, fans persisted in criticizing Bennington and his band for their new pop sound, adding to the weight of his struggles. In June of 2017, Linkin Park headlined the metal festival Hellfest. Unfortunately, the band's performance of their new songs was met with a disappointing response from some fans, who expressed their disapproval through booing, middle fingers, and even throwing objects at Bennington. That very next month, Bennington confided in his longtime friend Ryan Shuck, who played guitar in Bennington's side project Dead by Sunrise, revealing that he had successfully maintained 6 months of sobriety. However, Bennington also shared some text messages with Shuck that, in hindsight, carried a sense of foreboding. Bennington described his ongoing battle with addiction, providing detailed accounts of his hour-by-hour struggles as he fought against the temptation to drink every single day. Bennington would open up about his declining mental health in an interview with the Los Angeles radio station.
I don't know if anybody out there can relate, but like, I have a hard time with life sometimes. Right. Sometimes it's great, but a lot of times for me, it's really hard. And no matter how I'm feeling, like, I always find myself like struggling with certain patterns of behavior. I find myself like stuck in like the same thing that keeps repeating over and over again. And I'm just like, how am I in this? I know that for me, when I'm inside myself, when I'm in my own head, this place right here, this skull between my ears, that is a bad neighborhood, and I should not be in there alone. In that, like, my whole life gets thrown off. Like, if I'm in there, like, I don't say nice things to myself. Like, there's another Chester in there that's like wants to take me down.
On the week of July 17th, 2017, Bennington, along with his wife and kids, went on a family vacation to their cabin in Sedona, Arizona. Bennington, however, had to cut his vacation short and return home to fulfill band-related work obligations. He was happy, recalled his wife to Linda. He gave me a kiss goodbye, he gave the kids a kiss goodbye, and I never saw him again. On the morning of July 20th, 2017, Chester Bennington was discovered lifeless in his Palos Verdes Estates home in Los Angeles County. In his pocket was the boarding pass from the flight he had taken from Phoenix the day before, a poignant reminder of his final days spent with his beloved family. Bennington was found by a housekeeper. His death was ruled a by hanging and took place nearly 2 months after Chris Cornell's own death on what would have been Cornell's 53rd birthday. Notably, both died as a result of hanging. The singer's autopsy noted that Bennington had a trace amount of alcohol in his system when he died, along with the troubling revelation that he had made another attempt 9 months prior, but changed his mind at the last second. The devastating news of Chester's death sent shockwaves through the music industry. As a guiding figure for millions worldwide through his work with Linkin Park, his passing is a tragic reminder of the internal struggles that even those who inspire others may face. Linkin Park has been on hiatus since Bennington's death. The band has made it clear that they currently have no intentions of creating new music or going on tour anytime soon. Nevertheless, Chester's legacy endures to this day, as the surviving members of Linkin Park continue to discover and release previously unheard songs featuring his vocals. These unreleased gems allow fans to further appreciate and commemorate his unforgettable talent. On the 4th anniversary of his death, Bennington's widow Linda shared a photo of the singer smiling for the camera with a lettuce cup on his head, expressing how Chester possessed a special talent for bringing laughter to his family and brightening their lives. A sentiment that rings true in this next photo, which would be the last ever taken of Chester Bennington while he was still alive. His smile now serving as a sobering reminder that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about.